SE Productions proudly present a timeless, cynical classic, the harrowing sing-along Christmas hit movie, The Muppets to Sophie's Choice.
So, what's it going to be, Herr Gonzo, you massive purple-nosed Jew?
Take the chicken. No, take the lobster. No, the chicken.
Come with me, Frau Gertrude. We have the oven ready for you.
Featuring such unforgettable numbers as I Hope That I Made It Onto Miss Piggy's List, A Concentration Camp's Shuffle, and Riddle Looks Swell in his new striped pajamas. All that and more right after this rubbish.
The outer margins of the Milky Way, planet Earth, Britain, London, the House of Commons. I probably should have just said that first, come to think about it. Prime Minister's Questions, Tuesday lunchtime.
Order! Let the Leader of the Opposition speak, you gibbering idiot!
Won't the Prime Minister explain why he and his cronies have awarded themselves a pay rise of 1,983%?
Mr. Speaker, if it wasn't for the party opposite, we wouldn't be in this mess now.
That is not answering my question. I'll ask it again, in the hopes that my right honourable friend might understand. Why has the Prime Minister given himself and his colleagues a pay rise of 1,983%?
Clearly, my right honourable friend just doesn't listen, Mr. Speaker. If it wasn't for the party opposite pulling down their pants, dropping the turd on the floor and then running away, we wouldn't be in this mess. And, Mr. Speaker, might I add that my right honourable friend's wife resembles a pregnant hippopotamus. No wonder his party made such a mess of the economy.
Mr. Speaker, would you mind explaining to the right honourable member opposite that if he insults my wife again, I'll take him outside and smash his stupid grinning teeth out of his throat, regardless of how massive his Adam's apple is. And speaking of wives, his own could do with a shave occasionally.
Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition yesterday was seen with that urine-soaked spider monkey he calls his mother in Harrods, buying an incontinence bag. No wonder the country suffered so badly when they were in power.
Kindly ask that inbred twat, Mr. Speaker, to take that back before I kick him so hard.
Bring his own peasants in his army, Mr. Speaker.
Let the camera of the mind's eye pull back from this scene of cantankerous bile, listener. There are the Houses of Parliament truck, the Gothic cracker-box of power, as designed by Sir Charles Barry, and bursting through its doors like pus from a scab come the self-serving, the gangrenous, and the great unwashed. This is how wars begin, when political debate no longer relies on the cut and thrust of intelligence, but on the blunt scalpel of sound bites. First, a so-called civil war, although no war could ever really be civil. Then an international war, and finally intergalactic. It spreads like a deadly bout of the flu, through cities, through countries, through the sparsely populated interstellar reaches between worlds where clangers live, before eventually attacking the farthest corners of space, where it disfigures the skin of the universe.
Did somebody just knock on the door? We're spinning in the middle of nowhere, thousands of light years from the nearest inhabitable planet. And look at the time. It's past 11. It's got to be bad news. Nobody with good news ever calls after 11.
Well, somebody's knocking. Either that or the woodworm are putting on weight. I'll just go and answer it, shall I? While you finish crimping your toenails?
Just open the damn thing, Polly. We're in a telephone box. It's not as though we've got far to walk. Look, I'll answer it myself, but I'm wedged in the corner by your enormous buttocks, unable to move.
Also, it's for you. Some bloke wearing an American Confederacy outfit. Or possibly the postman. Or a stripogram. Although, judging by the amount of wrinkles and white powder in his hair, I seriously hope not.
If he's a Jehovah's Witness, tell him I'm in the back.
Given the fact that, as previously mentioned, this is a telephone box, coupled with the equally implausible fact that I'm currently standing in the doorway, you might not be surprised to learn that I can see you wedged in the corner, trimming your feet with a pair of pinking shears. Furthermore, I heard everything you said, and frankly, I'm glad you're not in the bathtub because my eyes have witnessed enough horror in this interminable war as it is. Without prolonging the scene unnecessarily, it might be best, therefore, if I explained that I'm Colonel Alistair Darling Borden Gins Lethbridge Saunders Stewpot of the Federation for Universal Counter-Terrorism, or FUCT for short. It's my job to escort you back to the Royal Space Corps HQ for a thorough briefing. Laura Pendlebury and Polly Jenkins, you have been conscripted into the great intergalactic war machine.
Excellent! Does this machine come with purple helmets and full discharge?
Shut up, Polly. War is no laughing matter.
You can say that again. I've read the rest of the script.
What gives with this music? Don't tell me we've just reached the credits. Struth! We're obviously on a slow burner this week. You can knock this bloody racket off for a start.
Laura Pendlebury audio adventures by Brian Hughes, episode 10. Although, if we're including minisodes, spin-offs and other variables soon to be featured in a reasonably priced companion book, roughly episode 19, not that anybody's counting, the oncoming shower. That's better.
Welcome to Central Galactic War Chambers, Miss Pendlebury. And your asthmatic space hopper, of course. Would you care for a cough lozenge, Miss Jenkins? This, ladies, and I use that term loosely, is where we manage the war effort. Or rather, where we don't manage the war effort. To be honest, we just can't get enough staff. The whole place is one enormous, dangerous tip. Watch where you're stepping, or you might crush scab out her mind.
I'm not sure about dangerous, Brigadier. It's certainly musty. I should have worn my gas mask. As one of Michael Winner's yellow fox escaped from prison.
As you can see, the floor is a detailed map showing the full extent of the cosmic skirmish. These ladies here are pushing models up and down like croupiers. We've no idea why. And those enormous computer banks just make stupid noises all the time. It's all a mess. We lost 15 X-Wings yesterday attacking an uninhabited asteroid because somebody knocked a school chip wrapper off the table. Well done, Miss Jenkins. That was Mars Station Delta. We'll have to blow it up now just to avoid further confusion. Sergeant Scrotalwart, the light cone, please.
Wikipedia defines a light cone as the path that a flash of light emanating from a single event, localized to a single point in space in a single moment in time, and travelling in all directions would take through space-time. It's also a type of hazard warning device used on interstellar highways north of the Camelopardalis constellation, frequently requisitioned as headwear by inebriated froglets from the binary planets of Flamsteed and Ballcock, although Wikipedia seems to be ignorant of this. Because all known events are unable to travel faster than the speed of light, a light cone contains every conceivably possible outcome chronologically leading from and including the singularity itself, although unless you have a degree in astrophysics, this might be difficult to understand. Here to help are Percy Proton and the Atomic Reactionary Singles Ensemble, or ARS for short.
In theory, a light cone is pointed. It starts at the point where it starts. It contains all the stuff that could possibly be, such as halos and angry brown bars. But it limits what happens because of light speed, and anything falling outside could knock all at once but could never get in because of height by height multiplied. So causality is limited to the edge where not possible to send to the bin. It's a pity, therefore, that these terrible lyrics have somehow by default got in.
That's enough of that. Those singing subatomic particles get everywhere. If I had the time, I'd set up a particle extermination company. We could have made a fortune. So, what's this temporal light diaphragm rubbish, Brigadier?
It's effectively a complicated three-dimensional chronological map, Miss Pendlebury, comprised of various knuckles and joints that led to the sprawling chaos of the Great War today. For example, here's where the skin-headed dykes of Lesbos Militantia joined forces with the lost toughness of nepotism prime against the legislators of Cash Cow Major, following an incident with a washing machine and a stray erotic blade. As far as the Great War goes, we've managed to trace the whole shebang back to one single event, just here.
Go with your index finger.
The tip of the light cone, Miss Jenkins. One particular incident that took place in the House of Commons Executive Committee lavatories on March the 21st.
Sorry? What was the date again?
March the 21st.
Excuse me,
Thought so. The slander lawyers have been at our scripts again. So, Brigadier Ballbag, you want us girls to go in, prevent the incident from happening, and stop the Great War before it ever took place?
Actually, no. With the full knowledge of your past history as far as ironic events are concerned, we figured that sending you back in time was probably what started the damned war in the first place. It's just that if we don't send you back, then we'll probably create a paradox. And the last time that happened, the entire universe collapsed. Either way, we're as buggered as the sheep in crotchless bloomers at the Overwire Farmers Convention.
More and more frequently nowadays, people ask me why I persist in writing these Laura Pendlebury adventures when nobody listens to them. Even the actors who appear in them don't really want to be involved, and it's only the photographs I keep in the folder at the back of the wardrobe marked votes and other interesting items that ensures they are. The truth is, I can no more make idiots see the genius in my work than a poet can teach a woodlouse how to read. If these short but insightful audio dramas reach just one intelligent person in 1,000, in 1,000,000, in 7 billion, then at least I've communicated an original concept to another self-aware mind, which is more than can be said for Anton Beck and their million-plus viewers on a Saturday night. But enough about that. Let's get back to the jokes about Dennis Healy's knob.
These House of Commoners certainly know how to take a dump, Polly. Gold toilet seats, swan's necks, a footman in full livery with a solid silver bedpan. I think we've dematerialised in days of
Cameron. I can only assume that chinless general director of Messer Productions used a fag for the shiny-eaten fascist. What's that footman doing with his walkie-talkie?
Security alert! Two Lemon Pickles turns have escaped from Cubicle 3. I'm not sure what sort of diet that fat bastard's on, but it appears to consist of copious amounts of boiled ham.
Okay, time to get out of here, Polly. Bugger me, Polly. have been shot.
It's just a scratch. Quite a deep scratch, to be honest. In fact, bloody massive might be a better description. But nothing that a nostril spit and some plaster of Paris wouldn't sort out. Possibly scaffolding might come in handy.
A scratch? There's a gaping great hole in my chest. I can see the floor through it. And one of John Prescott's old condoms. Steak and kidney flavour, judging by the smell. They really ought to clean up around here more often. You'd think with all that power and money that they'd employ some decent cleaners.
That's not a gaping hole, Laura. That's just your cleavage. You forgot to put your bra on this morning. Look, your bosoms have fallen around your knees, that's all. If we just tuck them back up under your armpits, you can hardly see the exploded ribs and the skein of intestines.
Polly! My heart and lungs have been blown out of my body and spread up the wall behind me. This is it, Polly. I'm a goner. Fortunately, the Laura Pendlebury Audio Adventures franchise has a trick up its sleeve, along with several stiff hankies that, believe me, aren't manky with snot. I'm going to regenerate.
I thought you said in episode 1 that you weren't capable of regenerating. What, will you be just an ordinary human being and not a potential infringement of BBC copyright?
I never said that, Polly. In fact, I insisted that the writer edited that sentence out of the script when I saw how dreadful the plots were and realised that I needed a good get-out clause. Anyway, all this travelling about through time and space and stuff has obviously done something complicated and incomprehensible and wibbly-wobbly to my body satisfied.
The wibbly-wobbly thing's been ongoing since before you built the twatters, to be honest, Laura. You mustn't regenerate. What if the series by some cosmic freak of nature goes into syndication and you're not entitled to royalties?
Braveheart, Polly. Braveheart. Extremely brave. When you think about the amount of lard you deposit around it, at least I didn't regenerate in a minisode. That would have been awful, wouldn't it? Imagine that. The main character of a popular science fiction drama regenerating in an online-only minisode. No writer could ever possibly stoop to such a rubbish exit. Well, so long, Polly, old Sam. It was fun. At least some of it was. Not much of it. I admit, the Custard Planet with the Amazonian lesbians was good. It's a pity the production staff were on strike that week. Alonze, Fateh!
Alonze is probably copyrighted as well.
Oh, shut up, Polly, you overweight working-class mother.
Hello, Polly, old lub.
Hello, Laura, or possibly Lawrence. You don't half look different in all that designer gear and stuff, and with a stubble on your chin. Same top hat with a feather in it, though. I bet the writer kept that for the sake of continuity. I wonder whether your personality's been affected.
Let's find out, shall we, old girl? Well, what a stroke of fortuitous luck. We must have stumbled into the secret parliamentary arsenal behind Michael Heseltine's old quarters. These are the ballistic missiles they used against Cyril Smith when he got loose from his cage. Grab some of those landmines and a bucket of photon grenades, Paul's mill crumpet. We're gonna kick some serious Tory bottom.
Okay, I can go along with this new persona.
Cocks in bumholes, boys. Tally-ho, you fascist right-wing bigots. Here come the dogs of war. And by the throbbing gods of Alteron, we're looking sexy. And so, inevitably, the newly regenerated Lawrence Pendlebury and the infatuated Polly Jenkins started the Great Intergalactic War, as predicted earlier in the episode, and the final chapter of the Laura Pendlebury adventures took its curtsy. But don't be downcast, listener. There's a theory amongst the more experimental theological physicists that only one photon exists in the entire universe, one solitary photon that moves so fast it appears to be everywhere at once, rather like the way that televisions give the impression of being one complete picture when they're actually built up of moving lines. When looked at from this perspective, our new Lawrence Pendlebury is exactly the same person as the old Laura Pendlebury, just one who's better at acting and has less saggy breasts.
Oi! I'm still here, you know. It's raining outside, so I thought I'd hang about for a few minutes. What's your set, Hughes? Or I won't be back for the obligatory, multiple Laura Pendlebury crossover anniversary story. Nip.
Change is inevitable, listener, otherwise we'd all stink. Where to, Polly old bean? The Flaming Gulf Nebula of Reverend Paisley, where the fish are spun from gossamer and the wind is constructed of glass? Or how about Evensong with the Borgias in downtown medieval Italy, where we can feast on quail's eggs and syphilis?
I can't breathe. My nose is wedged in your bum.
The oncoming shower was written by cutting up a stack of old beanos, throwing the pieces into the air, and then randomly reassembling them. It starred Juliet Gregson as Laura Pendlebury, Michelle Harrison Orville as Polly Jenkins, and Jeanette and Ian Crunchy as everyone else. The sound effects were generated using an Ovaltine tin and a small glass marble, and the music was assembled from a Kane MacLeod collection using a plastic issue rod. No pepper pots were featured in this episode. Don't forget to tune in next time, folks, for Laura and Polly go shopping in Lanka. No, wait a minute, there isn't another episode.
Darn the flyman, Christ. You mean that was the last episode ever, and I wasn't even offered a part in it?